Hello, brothers and sisters. I wanted to share something with you. Just the fact that by not having favoritism and partiality towards people, you're actually doing them a favor. Now, it may seem as though the person is austere because they don't show favoritisms, but it's actually you're allowing people to be free by not entangling yourself within an unhealthy relationship. Now, I know that may seem a little cold at first, but if you understand what I'm saying, you're allowing people space and room to grow. It's like if you take a box and put it around a plant. Yeah, the plant may grow, right? But it's going to be bent. It's going to be trying to bend towards the light, and without enough space for the roots will be all just deformed. And so what has to happen is people need space. While fellowship is sweet, and there's no doubt we're supposed to fellowship as believers whenever we can, it's also not contingent on the fact that we're gonna compromise, let people do whatever they want, and not actually answer important questions and things like that as brothers and sisters. And one of the biggest things I hope that you would expect out of me and out of any other believer is not to be bringing you into bondage under rituals and under this idea of a corporate body. Like a corporation is a body, it becomes a legal entity, and it's a soulless entity. It's a machine, and it devours its people. If there were a soul to a corporation, it would be the people within it, which we have learned from observation is not true. It's soulless. So people who operate within the tradition and within the habits and traditions are the same. They just chew up and spit out for years victims, and their questions are never even asked, like, hey, why do we chew people up and spit them out? It's like, hey, this is a corporation. You do whatever the laws that were written into it commands us to do. So our primer should be the fear of God, not the fear of man. And whenever you start playing favorites, truth just goes out the window immediately. So I pray that you understand what I'm trying to communicate here, and I really hope that people will learn why favoritism is so dangerous and why partiality is dangerous, and why it's important to allow people room to grow. And that's what a true friend will do. And a true friend, I feel, may be more difficult to communicate with, because they're going to acknowledge error and acknowledge truth. And I'm not speaking of these things in cliche like many people will. When I say truth, I mean exposing, discover, right? Like take the cover off, uncover, discover, disclose. That's what apocalypse means. It means to take the cover off. And aletheia is the Greek word, like when he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. It means to take the cover off. So it may be difficult to communicate with someone, and I say someone, I mean me, because I've communicated. I don't have very many friends, because I try to stay within God's boundary, and I don't keep the traditions, like, for example, like Ishtar, the worship of the goddess of Egypt, which is renamed Easter, or Christ Mass, which is the eating and drinking of human flesh and blood, which is the cookie god of the Roman Catholics. And they, as late as the 1940s, were killing people, the Greek Orthodox Church, and holding their heads. Like if you watch my that video that I named Kingdom of the Cults after that book by Walter Martin. There's actually, if you pay attention, I didn't mention it, but there's actually someone holding a head in that video, and they're cutting off people's heads with axes and saws, and I showed you those images. And so my point is that it's just we have to expose the truth and error, and we have to take the cover off of these things. And as a true friend, I want you to know that I'm not while I may seem far away, if you ever have questions, I'm right here, so my email is jeremiahkmills@gmail.com. That's JEREMIAHK Mills, MILLS, @gmail.com. So if y'all ever want to send me an email, shoot one over. So and like I said, I don't give my responses based on trying to flatter you or to make you happy. I do it through the context of what I've read and studied in the Bible, and I'm not going to come at you through a dogmatical construct of an institutionalized brainwashing, because as we see in the New Testament, Jesus did not create an institution. He taught his disciples as experience-based. He went from place to place and taught them as he went. He didn't go within the confines of the institutionalized way that it is now. And to speak, because he was a Jew, he did keep the rules that he enacted, being Yahweh incarnate. But when he was nailed to the cross, that enmity went away. The enmity was there, the scripture says. And when Jesus was nailed to the cross, all the rituals were gone away, blotting them out. He was nailed to blotting out the handwritings of ordinances, nailing them to his cross. So the ordinances went away, the rituals went away. Neither in this mountain nor in Jerusalem will be the place to worship. Jesus seeks those to worship him who worship him in spirit and truth. So I hope that this helps, and I hope you know a little bit more about the dangers of favoritism now. So, all right, I'll catch you later. Bye.